WTF is cooking. WTF, get your mind out of the gutter. It means what the food is cooking. So let's get started. We're going to be doing a Yankee pot roast. Now the first 2 episodes we did Italian. Now we're going to be doing English. That's right. The English, when they came over to the colonies, or the United States before then, well, they decided to bring their recipes. So this is going to be a Yankee pot roast, but I'm making it a wicked pot roast, and I'm going to show you how. Roast, you want to prep it by taking off the fat cap. You don't want this. I mean, a lot of people like fatty meat. We don't, so we remove this layer. So this is a rump roast. It's a 3-pounder. So you figure by the time I take off this, it'll be a little less than 3 pounds, but not too much. With this is going to get 3 pounds. It's going to go into a 6-quart crock pot. All right. So to remove the skin, now this is partially frozen to make it easy to cut. So you want to get your knife underneath that fat and start just gently easing it down. Just gently ease it down. And because it's partially frozen still, it's allowing me to cut without it moving all around, and the meat isn't all mushy, so my knife is falling all over the place. Get in there. And you have this big chunk of fat in there. You just want to do a little V cut there. And take it out. There's still going to be a little bit of fat. If you really don't want that fat, get in here with the little knife, trim it up a little more, or you could just leave it. You're not going to get every little piece of fat. Most meat has some fat going through it, and it also helps tenderize the meat, but you don't want a lot because, like with pasta sauce, it's going to make it oily. And then you're going to have to take your gravy, you're going to have to put it in the freezer, freeze it a little bit, scoop off that fat. You wanted dinner 2 hours ago. Now you're scraping fat. You don't want to do that. Okay, our roast is ready to go. Okay, so we've got our main ingredients here. We have our 3-pound roast that we trimmed. We've got baby carrots. Baby carrots, they cook up a little faster. They're nice and small. The store cleans them for you, so you don't have to do it. I was able to find at the local market, I got a 1.5 cup or 12-ounce bag of colorful carrots. Look at that. So I not just got these little orange babies. I got some purple. I got some yellow. Don't they look fun? We have 5 small to medium potatoes here, all diced up, about 1/2-inch pieces. We got celery. 2 stalks of celery, cut into about 1/2-inch pieces. And we got chopped onions, not diced this time. We took 1 large onion, just diced it up into pieces. Now our water is boiling. We're going to put the potatoes and the carrots. There's a little bit of salt in the water just to salt them up a little bit. We're going to put them into the boiling water so they can, about 6, 7, maybe 8 minutes. When you stick your fork in, your fork can just barely get inside them. That means they're ready to be drained and go into the crock pot. So here we go. We're going to have our potatoes and our carrots. They're going to do a little swimming. All right. So we're going to, about 6-minute mark, we're going to stick the fork in, see if they're ready to come out. Okay, so one thing we have to make sure we have is pot roast starter. You're going, what the heck is that? I don't got pot roast starter. You can make your own using your first pot roast. So what you want to do, if this is the first time you're doing it, you want to get 4 cups of beef broth. Add in some garlic powder, black pepper, mix it all up, paprika, a little paprika too. I would say black pepper, you want at least a teaspoon. The paprika, garlic powder, you want at least a tablespoon. Mix that all up into your 4 cups of beef broth. And that's going to go into your crock pot. Now what happens is while all the vegetables are cooking, the beef is cooking, the juices are coming out of the beef. All of these flavors and juices are mixing with that beef broth. Now, before you make your gravy, when your pot roast is all done, you want to pull your pot roast out, spoon out a lot of your vegetables, and you're going to see your gravy at the bottom. Well, it's very brothy. It's not gravy yet. You want to pull out 4 cups of what's in there, and you want to put it in your freezer. Put it in a container, put it in your freezer. Now, before you use it the next time, you want to start defrosting it in your fridge. And what's going to happen is any fat that's in that pot roast starter is going to come up to the top. You just scoop it right off while it's solid. This is what you're going to get. Look at that. That's all fat. That is nasty fat. You don't want that in your next pot roast. Isn't that disgusting? Look at that. Look at that. That's all fat. You don't want that. We throw that away. Now you got some nice beef broth. But it's flavored beef broth. It's got the flavor of the other beef you cooked, all those vegetables, the onions, some garlic. It's going to be really nice. We've got our potatoes and carrots all done. Took about 6 minutes before the fork finally went in without a problem. I'm going to put that in the bottom of our pot. Next thing we're going to do is take our roast, and we're going to lay it right on top here. Okay? Push down a little. We got our celery. Just let it fall where it falls. We got our onions. Let it fall where it's going to fall. Alright, now I said I'm going to make this a wicked pot roast. This is what's going to make it wicked. We got 1 cup of diced tomatoes mixed with 2 tablespoons of diced jalapeno peppers. Okay. What's this? Since when is this going pot roast? Now, normally, if you want to tenderize your roast, you would put some red wine vinegar on it, wrap it up in plastic wrap, let it sit for 8 to 12 hours. That red wine vinegar breaks up the fibers in your meat. I didn't do it this time. I'm going to let the tomatoes do it. They have acid in them. That's why sometimes you eat pasta sauce, you get a little heartburn. That's from the tomatoes. And the jalapeno peppers, well, this is what makes them really wicked. They're going to make your tongue all of a sudden go, hey baby, you want to dance? Okay, so those are going to go right in on top. Make sure you get all of it in there. And now here comes our pot roast starter. Alright, there's about 4 cups here. And we're just going to let it pour all over. And you can see there's pepper in there. Look at that pepper and all those ingredients in there. And we want to mush that around a little. Look at that. Okay. A lot of that stuff that was on the bottom was the garlic powder, the salt. Everything that was in the last pot roast I made. Paprika, garlic. Alright. Now we're going to put this as a 6-quart pot roast. We're going to set it on low. Low and slow. That's how you go. This is going to take 8 hours before perfection. Alright, we're going to put the lid on. Once again, like last time, we're just going to put those little handles up. Don't lock them. We don't want your pot roast all over the ceiling. See you later. We've got the crock pot turned off. Let's start pulling stuff out and see how it came out. So first off, we're going to pull out our pot roast. Now, you might want to use a slotted spoon because we want as much juice as possible to stay inside here. Alright, so we've got our pot roast. And we're just going to put it in this bowl for now to rest before we cut it up. Alright, we got a little bit of onion here. Now for this bowl here, this is where we're going to put our veggies. Now remember, we want to save 4 cups of the juice that's in here. And if you notice, everything did rise to the top, where before it's kind of sunk in. Well, it's risen to the top, which means we got a lot. And this juice here is not thick. It's really watery. I'll let you see that. Look at that. That's kind of watery. I don't know, you can't see that. Look how watery that is. It's going to be good for an au jus, but we want a thick gravy to go with our pot roast. So we're going to spoon out use a slotted spoon and spoon out your veggies. Got our pot roast pulled out. We've got all our veggies pulled out. If you've got some small pieces of vegetable in your juice, don't worry about it. And I'll tell you why later. But first of all, we want to get our pot roast starter out so we can save it in the freezer for the next pot roast freezer. We have 1 cup measuring, and this is Tupperware. It fits 4 cups. Now, this Tupperware is 38 years old. I bought this in 1982. And the reason why it's lasted so long, I don't put it in the dishwasher. Dishwasher kills plastic. I don't care how tough your plastic advertises it is, a dishwasher will kill it. So hand wash your Tupperware. You don't want to spend the money on Tupperware? Get those Rubbermaid hard containers. They will last a long time too. But again, don't put them in the dishwasher. Don't be lazy. Wash it by hand. So we're going to measure out 4 cups of our nice juice. Look at that. Look at that. That's going to be our starter for our next pot roast. We're going to get out 4 cups of this. And we don't want the potato. There's a line on the Tupperware. It shows you where your 4-cup mark is. So you want to put this aside. We're going to put the lid on. And of course I'm going to put a label on it with what it is and the date. And into the freezer it will go. We'll let it cool down a little. We don't want our freezer to get too warm. Now inside is the rest of our juice. You can see it like that. We got some juice in there. There's some veggies in there, no problem. What's going to happen is with the veggies, so I don't have to use cornstarch or flour to thicken this. This is going to be my gravy. I'm going to leave some of the vegetables in there. Remember my handy dandy immersion blender? Going to go right into the pot, mush all those vegetables down, and they're going to become my thickener for the gravy. If you don't want to buy one of these, and again, they're really cheap. They're like $10 to $15. You can transfer all the gravy here, or juice, to a blender. But be careful. This stuff is hot. So when you put it into the blender, you're going to have to put that lid on, which means you're trapping air in there. And if you're not careful, the heat with the hot air, it might blow up. So be careful. So what we're going to do is just put this in here. We got some potatoes and carrots still in here. Look at that. It was a light brown color. Now it's becoming a really, like almost a chocolate brown color. And it's getting thicker. Alright. If you want it a little thicker, put some more of the vegetables back in. Or if you really want that cornstarch and flour, then add some, 2 tablespoons of each with a tablespoon of water. Make a slurry. Put it in there. It'll thicken it up. Me, I like to put a little more vegetable in here. So I'm going to grab some vegetables. And these carrots and potatoes came out tender. They just melt in your mouth. I'm going to put this back in. Remember, potatoes have starch. Like flour, they have starch. So they will thicken up your gravy for you. Remember, this is also hot. Don't put your face in it. Stand back when you're doing this. Alrighty. Let's get to the pot roast. So we've got our gravy. We've got our veggies. Let's slice up some pot roast. Alrighty. So you want to cut across the grain. You can see where the grain is, the way the lines are going on your meat there. So you want to cut across it. If you cut with the grain, it's going to be a tough piece of meat. If you cut across, the meat becomes real tender. It's going to be tender anyway because of the way it cooked. But we're going to go across that grain. Look at that. Look at that. That is really nice meat. Now you don't have to cut up the whole thing depending on how you're serving. Just the two of you, you just cut a few pieces up. If you're going to have a family over, you cut up as much as you can, but you want to leave a little of it so they can see it in here. And then you take that and just fan it out. Look how nice that looks. And if you want, take some of that gravy. Look how nice and dark and rich that gravy got. That is nice and rich. Kind of pour it over. Look how pretty that is. Here's your veggies. Here's your pot roast with your gravy. How's that? Huh? Ain't that a beautiful thing? What's the matter for you? Do it! Just try it! Alright, remember, it's Food Adventures of a Comfort Cook, www.comfortcookadventures.com. I'm Mary Kokenauer. Thanks for being in my kitchen again. I'll see you sometime. Bye-bye.